Hi, I'm Mary Allison Brown from ReflectingRelationships.com, and we're here today to talk about teaching emotional regulation skills using the Flip It method. Let's get started. Okay, so today I'm introducing you to the Flip It method. I absolutely love the Flip It method. First of all, because it's really easy to remember because it's a great acronym. And second of all, because it meets lots of the social emotional needs of infants and toddlers while we're using it without even really thinking about having to meet those needs. So let's get started. So the F in Flip It stands for feelings. So this means that when your child is feeling really upset, really angry, really sad, anything like that, the first thing that you want to do is validate and label those feelings by just saying, I see that you feel sad. I know that you're frustrated. I can see that you're feeling really angry right now. This is a really important way to help meet your child's need to feel acknowledged and understood. When you put a name to their feeling, they feel like, oh, yeah, he gets it. He understands what's going on for me. And that can really mitigate later problems. So that's really important. The hardest part with Flip It, I think, is to remember when you see a negative behavior such as hitting, to do the feelings first. So feelings are always first. So think of that F and F, feelings first. So first part of Flip It is validating feelings. So when your child hits, the first thing you're going to say is not, no, stop, don't do that. It's going to be, whoa, you are so angry. And then what? And so then we get to the L in the flip. Feelings. L is for limits. So next you're going to set a very clear limit. Remember, it's important to avoid the word but, because if you say, whoa, you're really angry, but you can't hit, what did you do right there? You just negated everything you did by validating your child's feeling. So really try as hard as you can to retrain yourself to avoid using the word but here. So it's going to go feelings, I see, whoa, you're really mad, limits. And it's not okay to hit your friends. You may not bite your brother. So you're setting a really clear limit about what behavior you've seen is not okay. So the I in the flip stands for inquiries. So this is where you're going to ask your child a question. Now, it's really important to remember that in this step of the flip, we are not asking why. So you do not want to respond by asking your child, why were you mad? Why were you angry? Why did you do that? It's a really common response that we all do, but try to avoid that here. The type of question that you want to ask here in the flip is actually a what question. So instead of saying, why were you angry? You're going to say, what can you do with those angry feelings instead? What can you do when you feel mad? What can you do with that feeling? Help your child start to think about other ways that they can manage those big emotions. Now, this doesn't mean that we're never asking why your child is angry, but that's a conversation that can come a little bit later once the stress response system has returned to more of a baseline level, and that's when you can have a real conversation about what the trigger was for the emotion. Okay, so far we have F for feelings, L for limits, I for inquiries. Now, the first few times you try this especially, your child's going to look at you like, I don't know what I can do different. Like, this is what I do. I get angry and I hit or I bite or whatever their response is. And when you start using this technique, they're not going to know another option of what they can do with angry feelings instead. So that's where the last step of the flip comes in, the P, and P stands for prompts. So this is where you're going to give your child some ideas of what they can do instead. And I don't think there's any one right answer here or a wrong answer. It really depends on what feels acceptable to you and for your family or for your classroom if you're a teacher. So some ideas are maybe to have a child take a crayon and scribble as fast as they can. Fill up that whole paper with crayon as fast as you can. So sometimes if your child is in a state of fight or flight, that helps get out the adrenaline response that they're having. Some parents like to tell their child they can either jump up and down 5 times or stomp their feet. Other parents say, no way, that looks way too much like a tantrum. That's not acceptable. Not doing that. And that's totally fine. So what you choose to give as the prompt is really individual. It's what's going to work for you and what's going to work for your child. Because you have to keep in mind that sometimes you might say, You can color this paper with this crayon, and that is not a strategy that works for your child. There's so many strategies that you can try, so really just play around with it. Be consistent with what you're offering, and then if you're seeing that it's not working after a little bit of time, go ahead and change it up. Try something new. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Another prompt that you can use if you really just want to teach your child to take that time to slow down and pause before reacting is you can say, so let's go through the whole flip this time. You can say, whoa, you were so angry right there. It's not okay to hit your friends. You may not do that. What can you do instead? Your child doesn't know. Maybe you're going to say something like, let's take 3 deep breaths together and calm our bodies down. So you can help your child learn how to regulate emotions by doing some deep breathing as well. So that is the flip. So I love Flip It, and like I said, because it's really easy to remember. I use it a lot with preschool teachers I work with parents I work with, because I think it's really important to validate and label your child's feelings first. When your child is angry, upset, when they've engaged in some aggressive behavior, try to reframe that for yourself as not my child is giving me a hard time or my child is doing bad things, but my child is having a hard time. It doesn't feel good in their body either to feel so dysregulated and out of control. So reframe that for yourself. My child is having a hard time. And how can I help them through that? And a really important way that we help kids when they're having a hard time is by helping them to feel acknowledged and understood. And validating and labeling those feelings first really does that. So once they know that you get it, you understand what's happening for them, their guard's going to go down a little bit. They're going to be more willing to engage in some other strategies. So I really love Flip It. I hope you love it too. I hope it helps. If you want more information to implement Flip It, there's a great book. I will put the link below the video if you want to head on over to Amazon and purchase it. But remember, FLIP stands for feelings, limits, inquiries, prompts. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please share with a friend. I would appreciate it so much. And if you'd like to know what's happening with me and with Reflecting Relationships, please come on over to our website at reflectingrelationships.com. If you sign up for our email newsletter, you'll receive my free 5-part mini course on 5 steps to creating connection with your child. Hope to see you soon.